So guys, let's get started with today's session. It's all about working on commissions. That's a very broad topic, and we're going to just highlight certain areas about how you can work on commission, what commissions is. Before I do that, I just want to share a little bit about who I am. Maybe you haven't come across my resources before. So this is me, Sonja Small here. I'm originally from Cape Town, South Africa, and have been living in the Netherlands for a whole 33 years. I love the Netherlands. I love living in Europe, and I love the art, of course, and just what's happening. Of course, love traveling, love going back to South Africa. That is home. Family still live there. And I'm an artist, went to the art academy in the Netherlands and found out what worked, what didn't work. And I missed a whole bunch in my education about how you can actually sell your work, how you can connect with potential, an art audience. And that just got me on a quest, getting resources together to help creatives and, of course, myself, learning along the way how you can do that, how you can market, how you can sell, how you can communicate about your art, how can you set up that website. So that's what I have. I do coaching, coach artists one-on-one, and I have a course, a signature course, to help the working artist course, and a podcast, the Help I'm Artist podcast, which just informs and inspires artists with guests, with interviews, with insights, just to help you grow your art as a business, so you can actually start making a living from your creativity. So that's just a little bit background of who I am. Welcome to those that are joining us. I see Jess is in the house. I see Jane is in the house. I see Ute is here. Wonderful to have you in this session. Very, very welcome to just sit back, relax, and enjoy. There's a replay. It will be posted in the feed. So if you think, I don't want to take notes, just want to sit back and listen, have my lunch or have my tea or coffee or whatever, or your iced tea with this lovely weather, then that is all fine. Commissions, as I said, a big, broad topic, but also can offer exciting opportunities for artists. And there are all kinds of them. But let's just get clear about what commissions is. Working on a commission, that's actually working with an instruction or on a command. Someone gives you an assignment, someone asks you to do something, or a role given to a person or to a group. So that is the dictionary version of commission. In the case of artistry, working as an artist, it's someone that gives you an assignment, a project to do, and that has different shapes and sizes. A commission can be individual, so you as the artist gets contacted. There's a connection with you personally. A client loves your style, loves your work, has seen your work on Instagram or on your Facebook or on your website, and contacts you personally or as a group. So group collaborations, you could be part of a team that's working on a commission. So there's many ways to look at this. A commission can be rather big. A commission can be small, has different intensities, different time spans. It could be a day, it could be months, it could be years that you could be working on a commission. It could be a company or a business or an organization that asks you, so more in the corporate space. It could be an individual client. You could be your neighbor. It could be someone in your friendship circle, someone that has seen you on the World Wide Web and has connected with you. Or you could take own initiative for a commission. So there can be different sources that sparks a commission. Let's briefly look at private commissions, because those are the ones that happen the most, and they can also vary in size and intensity. There could be a portrait that you've been asked to paint or to draw or to sketch. It could be someone's pet or a meaningful gift. It could be for some personal use, for someone that you want to have something made for somebody else, and then they ask an artist. Could be for an interior project, for someone that wants a mural on their wall, they've just moved into a home, they want something special and unique, and they contact an artist to do that. Could be for a wedding. I know an artist that goes to weddings and actually captures the day in a painting. So she does live painting for a few hours at weddings. So she's commissioned by a couple or by friends of the bride and groom to paint during the day. And so they have a wonderful gift from their friends. They can hang it on their wall, and that could be an interesting commission. I also know another artist who gets commissioned by funeral homes to paint coffins. So to have a memorable sort of an artistic illustration on the coffin of the urn to commemorate someone, to commemorate someone's life, to commemorate those memories, really to make something memorable for the family. So that's also a commission. Or a home. My sister, she lives in South Africa, and a few years ago she came home and there was an artist sitting outside of her fence painting her home. She was like, what is he doing painting my home? And she just went up and chatted with him, and it was a beautiful illustration of her home. And this was his job. He gave himself commission to paint someone's house, lovely illustration. And then at the end of the day or the end of a few hours, he would ring the doorbell and say, look, I've made this illustration. Would you be interested in purchasing it? Now, my sister loved it, and it's still hanging framed on her wall. So that is also commissions, something that you can initiate yourself. So lots of different kinds. This is just an example of Melanie and Nicholas. It's a couple. They work together in the UK, and they get commissioned to paint, illustrate, and draw people's pets. That's a full-time business. They are, very well sought after. People go to them. They're the go-to people to paint someone's pet. So that's an interesting commission for people. That's a specific genre, specific area that they've specialized in. They're very good at to create a memory if a pet has passed away, or someone's got a new pet, or they just want to have that wonderful memory. So opportunities. This is Drew Brophy from the US, and he gets commissioned to do fine art on surfboards. So he's designed hundreds and hundreds of custom painted surfboards. So he has clients in the surfing field, and he has a certain style, and he is illustrating and designing these art pieces on surfboards. Hey Leonie, good that you're here. We'll be tuning in with Leonie in a bit. She's going to be joining us for the session. Amazing South African fine artist and has so much to share. So good that you are here. And then a wonderful name that I'm going to have trouble pronouncing, Bogomila. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Very, very welcome to the session. Thank you for everyone that's joining in and has joined in. All about art commission. So this is an individual art commission that Drew does for surfboards. If you have questions, by the way, at the end of the session, we're going to be answering questions. You can then, I'll open the floor. Leonie and I will answer questions. You can write it into the comments. So that's please just take a note and you can ask your questions. So how about companies, businesses, and organizations? What's possible as far as commissions? Well, we know murals. Murals can be commissioned by company, organization, in the entrance hall, as a mission statement, as an expression of what the company is all about. It could be a portrait of the director of the bank or the director of an organization or someone that's passed away, someone that they want to commemorate on their wall of fame. There could be a portrait painted. Could be relational gifts. For example, I know of a winery in South Africa, and they commission artists for special vintage that design labels for wineries, for example. So that's just promotional gifts, relational gifts, different surface designs as far as materials, as far as wallpaper. Organizations, businesses are approaching artists to work on commission. So they're licensing art, or they are asking for specific custom-made projects. And artists could be hired for events, for different kind of products. So lots to do. Just want to show some examples just to give those creative juices going and just to share what's possible. This is Heather Day. She's an American artist, expressionist artist, and she was commissioned by the Urban Institute of Contemporary Art in the US to make murals on the entrance halls as people entered the institute. She then painted the walls. I mean, this is a huge scale project, and she explains on her website, if you're interested, she tells a little bit more about this project, how she was commissioned, and how, you know, trying to scale it from, you know, a painting that's on a desk to walls that are so big, and having to rent out, you know, rent a crane, and to get high enough to work and take distance. So that was quite a challenge for her, but an interesting commission that's there, and a lot of people, of course, seeing her work and engaging with her art. This is a Dutch figurative painter, Edgar Moderman. He was commissioned by the Martini Church, which is a very beautiful cathedral in the north, in Groningen, the north of the Netherlands, to paint Bible stories. And he was actually patron sponsored by one of our huge warehouses, was offered a studio, was offered financial help for materials, and so that he could work on this commission for many, many months. I mean, these are huge, big illustrations of biblical stories. So there was a commission by a church, sponsored by a well-known shop, warehouse, and he could work for many, many months using his gifts and talents to display these beautiful paintings. If you ever do get to the north, if you do get to the Netherlands, to the north, you can go to the Martini Church. You can see these beautiful paintings. He's also being represented now by Gallery Bonnar, which is a gallery in the south of the Netherlands, run by David and Renee van der Linde, who is also a guest. I've interviewed them for a podcast. Good to go and have a look at their website, because he is now being represented. He's been selling very, very well. So that's Edgar Moderman, nice Dutch name. And then you can personally take initiative to work on commissions. It can be something very personal. Think of competitions. So you are making, the competition gives you sort of a framework, an art competition, and then you are making an art piece which you are submitting. Just make sure that you know what you're submitting, what are the rules, read the fine print so they don't take you on a wild goose chase, so that you know it's legit. There are a lot of competitions out there, but it can potentially give you exposure. And there are open calls, there's residencies that you can go and work at a certain place. I was in Boise, Idaho 2 years ago, and there was this beautiful gallery that offered residencies for 3 months. They paid your way, they paid your 3 months there, and then gave you an assignment. So they commissioned you to do a certain theme, maybe in a season or about the geographical area. And then at the end of your 3 months, you'd have an exhibition. So they gave you room and board, they supported you. Interesting residency opportunities, which just enlarges your network. It's not a big money maker, but it enlarges your network if that's something that you are looking for. It can be personal contracts, placements in certain places at a company. Some businesses even hire artists to work for them for a season, just to help them work through and process through certain challenges that they're having, how using art as a conversation piece, also for their staff, for their businesses. It could be sponsorship, could be cash prizes. So have a look and see. It's not just a commission someone asks you to draw their pet. There are a lot of possibilities out there. This is some examples that you can go back to for joining competitions. Now the UK, I know that you here, Anya, I don't know who else is from the UK, but there are possibilities for art prizes and art competitions. So have a look online. Got some examples here that you can look at, and just do your homework and make sure they're legit. And then there are platforms that you could look at, like Upwork and Fiverr, where artists can offer their services to commission for private clients, even for businesses. So it's like a job marketplace where you offer your services. Say, I'm a fine artist, I'm a portrait painter, I'm a digital artist, I'm a graphic designer. And then on the other side, there's the demand of the individual client who is looking for. So they are matching the artist and the assignment. So this is like, for example, on this sheet, you can look, they're looking for an artist and they offer an hourly rate of $20 to $40. And they are looking for a portrait painter, an artist who can make a portrait. So here is the assignment, what the expectations are, and you can bid so that you are. There are, of course, many artists who are on these websites, on the Upwork, for example, or Fiverr or freelancer.com, and then you get there early, and then you can send your resume, you can show what you've been doing, your portfolio, and then you have a chance of getting that assignment. It's just with everything that we're doing, knowing whether it's worth your while, whether that's your trajectory, and if you're doing that intentionally, not going around in a wild goose chase, following everything, but making it really intentional. I'll talk a little bit about that before we let Leonie on. So this is Fiverr. You can also look here as an artist. I'm a designer, professional watercolorist, and I do portraits from photos. So that is a personal commission, and there's a whole array. So have a look and see what's out there. I do know artists who make sizable incomes because this has been part of their business strategy. They've used it very intentionally. They've made certain allocated periods of time that they're going to work on these freelance projects, working on these commissions, which funds them to do their own work, their free work, their fine art business. So it's a supplement, but it's something that you need to be quite disciplined in because it really can be a big distraction. So that really is part of, you need to think whether that's going to be fitting and suiting for you. This is Artling. I don't know if you know the website. It's worth looking at their Insta accounts and also at their website, and they mediate for artists. Also, if you're a muralist, for example, because I know there's muralists in this community, and they, you have your portfolio fixed, good photos of your work, and they connect you with potential clients. So they're interacting on your behalf for commissions if you don't have that network yet. But of course, they take a piece of the pie. That's their business structure. So also, see if this is something for you. They do, of course, have, they need credentials and you need to have a certain level of work. But, it's good just to know that there are companies, there are businesses, there are spaces like the Artling that are out there, and they are joining and connecting artists with potential art commissions. Preparing for a commission, important to make it intentional. I've seen artists that have gone totally, got totally frustrated because they've added commissions sort of like on the sideline to their business structure. So they have free work, they are teaching, but they also do commissions. And those commissions never come at the right time. They always come when you're like the super busy, or, you don't have space in your head or your studio or your budget for it. And then someone asks you to do a commission. You need to be very clear whether that's something you want to do or not want to do. I think before people start asking you, or before you start telling people that this is something that you're open for, make sure did you allocate time? Because it all has to do with time management, so that it's not draining all your energy and time. And then when you think, okay, yes, I want to allocate a certain amount of time, hours or weeks or a certain season to work on commissions, then make sure you have your portfolio ready. So you have a portfolio online on Instagram, your website, so people can see examples, because they will commission work from you when they see your portfolio, your style, whether it resonates with them, whether it's the right fit. Communication, I think that's the big C when it comes to commissions. So much goes wrong because there are incomplete expectations, or not the right expectations about the time-wise, about the budgets, about how many edits can there be in a art piece, so that you're not editing all the time. Yes, my eye needs to be a little bit like this, or my hair needs to be a little bit like this, or the dog is not sitting in the right place and you need to start doing it all again. You have to make clear expectations, and the more routines you get in this, the more you can create healthy boundaries, so it's not costing you an arm and a leg as far as money and time and energy. So you're not lying awake like, oh, I just wish I could get it done. You want to be doing your own work. So think it through and make a page like expectations on your website, frequently asked questions, what's the process, what is the pricing, so that it's clear, so people don't get all have the wrong expectancy. But borders in your time, really know that this is the time I'm going to be spending on it, and that this is not, and Leonie will share a little bit more about that because she's worked on commissions in her career before. And then the time management, that's a big struggle. But definitely, can be lucrative if you put it in your business structure and organize your time well. This is a question I got from Catherine. She remarked and shared that she has been working on commissions. And the remark was, if I love painting so much, why do I feel so much anxiety when I work on commissions? If I paint something for someone else, maybe you can relate to that anxiety because it's nerve-wracking when you're working for someone else, when you're making free work and the end product is the end product. That's a different story. But if someone has these expectancies, they are wanting that end product, they have an idea of what it's going to be looking like. I totally get that, Catherine, that can have some anxiety with it, and then all of a sudden she says the process is no longer intuitive. Sometimes the process seems to be very hard, hoping that at the end I will get the result that my client wishes. I think, Catherine, this is part of the answer of your question, is setting really clear boundaries, getting more confident, like this is what I'm going to be offering, this is what you're going to be expecting from my portfolio. They are choosing you for a reason, and put it down on paper. How many edits within the price that you are maybe working in a lump sum, this is the price. And if you're making extra edits, then it's going to be there's going to be a supplement in the pricing, an added expense. And I think the more confident you are about setting up boundaries, it'll give a sort of a safety also for the client, that they know, okay, this is what I'm going to be getting. And also build in those caveats that you are an artist. There was a comment, I forget who did, I think it was Jacques, that mentioned in the Facebook community that he works on commissions and he has made clear boundaries. He doesn't even show the client the piece in the process. That's just how he's structured his commission business. And he said, I make sure that I have artistic freedom, that licensing, so he can put his own heart and flow into the projects, and that the client knows the risks and they sign for that. So that's another way of doing that. Maybe that is for you, Catherine, that you set clearer boundaries and make those expectations really clear. Not everything is possible. Dare to say no. Then make sure you have that brief. That's everything on paper, whether they first tell you verbally, then you send them an email. This is what we have arranged with each other. This is the expectation. This is the price. There are contracts that are available also for this. So you put it in writing, get that signature so that it's official. So it's not like, we'll see. That's not very good business sense, and that's going to give a lot of stress. Just to summarize, set those realistic expectations, know your pricing. Pricing, it can be tricky. I know there was a question also about pricing. You need to know your pricing, of course, also with your art. This will relate also in your commission work. Your time, your energy, your materials, your level of experience will all influence your pricing. So knowing your pricing, being really adamant, this is what I'm worth, because people really will start haggling with you and they want it for no money and you do a lot of work. So be confident about your pricing. Dare to say no. You don't need to take every commission. And I know that's challenging because you want to do the work and you don't know when your next assignment is going to be. So, it takes some bravery to say no to a commission, but you have to have that click with the people. You've got to have, the right fit. Make sure everything's in writing. Be honest about expectations, especially when you're having that talk, not saying, yes, of course it's possible. Yes, of course I can do it so big. Yes, of course it's going to be done in 2 weeks. Really think whether it's doable so that you don't put all the pressure on yourself. Remember, they also, the client, also needs to know that, the limitations. This is handwork, custom work, bespoke work, and it takes time, energy, and money. So make sure you're communicating that clearly. Think through the rights, who has the rights of the piece. If you're getting hired by a company, they often want to buy out the rights so that they don't have to think that through for later when things are going into reproductions. Make sure that you're clear about the rights and who owns the piece, something that's being exhibited, and they're going to make postcards from it. They're going to duplicate things. Who has the rights? Make sure you are putting that in writing. And also with a client, some clients might say, oh, I'd love to put this on my Christmas card. Can I make a reproduction? At the end of the day, you still own the piece. They are, of course, purchasing the piece, and unless they are getting the sole ownership, you still have the artistic license over the piece. But make sure, if you're thinking, okay, I'm fine with it, I'm going to release it, I give the artistic license to the person that has commissioned the piece, then make sure you put that in the price, but also put it in writing so that it's clear. So you don't see your work later, think, well, why is it on so many Christmas cards? And then if there's a delivery, you need to bring something. Who's paying for that? Who's ensuring the delivery when you're going abroad or when you have to transport a larger piece? Is it going to be maintained? Does it need to be dust-free? Does it need to, if there's an installation with lighting, who's maintaining the piece? Is it the commissioner or is it you? And then a source photo. I tell this story to my students that Mitzi is an artist down the road, and she was asked to do a commission of the wife of a gentleman. His wife was deceased and she was suffering from Alzheimer's, and he wanted to have a memory of her in the last stages of her life, because he only had young photos of her, and he only had one really bad photo that she could use as an example for the commission. And she said, when I looked at the photo, she says, I knew I should have said no, because this was going to be a nightmare, because there were no shadow parts. It was just a bad out of focus photo. And he wanted something really realistic for that moment. And it cost him many, many weeks working with him, trying to, Photoshop the photo. And in the end, it was sort of a gift to him, because she didn't get her hours and her time and her energy out of it. So make sure that the source that you're using, if you're working from photographs or you're working from images, that they are up to standard. Leonie, I'd love to invite you to this session. I invited Leonie. I know Leonie for many years. I followed art classes with her, really am an admirer of her art, of her lifestyle, of her, just the way she is living her life. And of course, she's from South Africa. She's lives close to where I was born. And she's worked on commission. She's a fine artist. And I'd love to invite you, Leonie, to this session. Well, Leonie, I know you for many years, and thank you that you are spontaneously joining the session. And please just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm 56 years old. I'm a South African. I'll be 57 this month. And I've been doing art since I was very small, and studied fine art, and then eventually went into graphic design for like 20 years or so. And then in about 2004, my husband said to me, okay, let's start with the art and see how it goes. So I've been doing full-time art since then. And I've also got an art school. So I teach online, and I also teach here in my studio. Mm-hmm. So I normally teach twice per week, on a Monday and a Friday. And then I try and paint Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But like every other artist, you know how it is. You have so much admin to do. So you end up spending half your day on admin before you can get to the paintbrush.
Mm-hmm. The dilemmas. And can you just share a little bit about your art style? What kind of art are you making?
I was actually thinking to show you. I can grab the camera.
Yes, please.
And I'll try and see if I can show you. Okay. Let's see if I can I just want to see if I can make myself bigger. Okay, so that is, okay. There we go. So that is one of the type of paintings I'm doing. I'm calling it my feminine series. So that's more, sorry, I'm trying to get it a better angle on it. There. So it's more, can you hear me still?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. It's more like female series, and I'll tell you the whole story behind it. And then obviously I've got my abstracts there. Got some abstracts over there, and that's a encaustic, the bottom one there. Encaustic is hot wax. And then there in the corner, right in the back, that's a abstract I did 2 weeks ago. I finished it. That's cold wax. So I do lots of abstract. I work a lot with cold wax and hot wax. And then there in the corner, I'll go fetch it quickly and I'll show you. Hang on. Oh, it's while I'm at it. This is my studio. Let's see if you
Yahoo, show us. Love studios.
Yeah, teach my people. Sorry for all the, I'm not very good with this Facebook Live thing. I've never used it before. And this is my sort of my office workstation here. And then that's my students' work there. And this is sort of my side where I work.
Yeah.
This is my oil and cold wax side. And then on the other side, sorry for the, the other side is my hot wax side. That side.
Okay. Different
So
stage.
I'm just going to quickly go fetch. I've got a little painting that I do as well, small paintings. Hang on.
We can look at your studio and your chair.
Yeah, in my chair. Okay, so I also do these ones. So these are, I have an Instagram site, obviously. And then what I do every month is I make little experimental work. And then whoever comments the most, they get the painting. So this one has to be sent off now to the person that's commented the most.
Yeah.
So it's very thick.
Wax. Yeah, I see it's wax.
Yeah, it's very thick. It's also cold wax and oil. So I mostly work in oils and cold wax and encaustic. Of course, I love encaustic. Yeah, so
well, we're talking about.
I love what I do.
Good. That's important. But you work a lot on, you have worked on commissions, and that's what this session is all about, working on art commissions. Can you tell us an example of a commission that you worked on, what you loved, what you hated, and what worked, what didn't work?
I think the one that I've liked the most, actually, it was 3 very large panels, 1.8 meter by 1.2 meter for a 5-star hotel in Namibia. It's called the Weinberg Hotel. And I love that commission because we worked really well together. They gave me a very good brief. They liked my style, so they knew what kind of style I was working in. And then they sent me material samples, and they basically told me I need to come up with an idea using the material samples. So I actually then went and I designed the actual paintings in Photoshop. I often do that. And then I sent them the Photoshop idea of what I did. They accepted that. And then I started the painting. So I gave them a very specific timeline, because 3 paintings and it's massive. I said how long I thought it would take, and I managed to stick to the timeline. And being clever, you always build an extra time. You know, you could get sick, something can happen. So you don't just say, oh, it's going to take me 3 months. You actually build in an extra 2 or 3 weeks for yourself. And with them, and what I generally do with commissions, if I get a commission, I want 1/3 of the money up front, because it's big painting. So this is a few years ago, so it's 100,000 rand. I don't know how much euro that is.
It used to be 10,000.
Whatever.
10,000 euros.
Oh yeah, I don't know if that's a lot of money in euro, but in South Africa, that's a lot of money. So let's say it's approximately 33,000 per painting. So I wanted 1/3 up front, and my reason for wanting money up front is because I don't want to spend the money on buying the materials out of my pocket because it's expensive. So I rather the client pays a third up front, and then I can go and spend that money and buy all the materials that I need. And obviously built into that first third that you get should be your profit margin. You know, well, that's how I work it. So that's actually, doesn't matter what happens, I still got money in my pocket. And then I have very strict rules in the sense of I'll make 2 changes in that time. So as I'm working with the painting, when I'm sort of halfway through, I'll send them a picture, say this is where I'm at. I normally make sure that I've got one person that I'm in contact with, because if you have many people have different opinions. So a good thing is to have one person that you have a good relationship with and that understands you and you understand them. And then I'll just, like update them. I'm busy with this today. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. People like to know where you're at, because then they feel they're part of the conversation. And then basically, once I'm with those paintings, what I did, because it was 3 paintings. So once I finished 2 paintings, I wanted the other third. And then the last painting, they had to pay me before I send it to them. So before I ship the paintings, the money must be in my account. And I just thought of something now. The problem, I'm not mad about commissions, because it's not often that they work out well. Like you said earlier, your friend that was trying to paint the guy down the road. And the reason I fight for that is that people don't know what they come to you and they say, oh, I like your style. I want an impressionistic style. But in their mind, they're thinking realism. They're thinking, oh, okay, it's realism with a bit of texture, like Van Gogh or something. They don't really have a clear concept of what the different styles are. So you say, oh, okay, you want impressionistic, so you create the impressionistic style they want, or whatever it is. And then it's like, oh, that's not what I meant. So that's where commissions can go very wrong. So that's why I always, when I do make a commission, I create the painting before the time, and that's what I show the client, and I stick to that. So going back to, they allow 2 changes if they don't like it. After 2 changes, and that's clearly set up before the time, they pay per change. I've actually got, so I don't know how to share screen. Is there a way for me to, oh, there, screen. Must I just click on screen?
Now you're pushing the envelope.
Shall I try it and see what happens?
Just try it.
Okay, I hope I can get back to you. Okay, I'm going to share screen with you, and hopefully I can. Let's see what happens. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, okay. It's happening. Okay. Screen 2. Let's go there. Share. I hope it's the right screen. Is it the right screen? No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay. No, it's the wrong screen.
Okay.
One. Okay, let's try that one. Okay. Let me see. Can you see? Oh, okay. Can you see my mouse? Yes, yes, yes. We're on the right track here. Okie dokie.
Okay.
That I did for them. So that's 1.8 meters, and this is all soft wax. And you can see it's quite impressionistic, bordering very much on abstract. This one is another one. Let me just drag it over, opening in the wrong screen. So there you can have a better kind of feel for it. And this one, there's the other one. So that gives you sort of the idea, very emotive. And then what I do with commissions, so I'm just going to close this. I opened up here, like this is my website. And then on the website at the top here, I say home shop commissions. So if people want to know about commissions, all they have to do is scroll down. So I made it fun, and I have little quotes and why you should buy my art and how does commissions work here. So it explains the whole thing. And there I say again, 33% must be upfront. So the client knows exactly where he's standing with me. I've also got options for installments, and then obviously transportation fees. So I'm sort of, my take on it is, if the client buys directly from me, it's also only office. Sorry, just go back. There's a return policy as well. So there's a return policy about why, how, where, and when, because you need to have that, because don't spend the money when it's in your account. Hang on to it a bit until they're really happy with it. Okay, I'm just going to switch the screen off. Okay, now I know how to share a screen. Oh, wait, wrong screen. Almost switched the wrong screen on. There we go. Okay, so there I am. So, okay, so it's very good to be really clear in your, it's more for you in your own mind, because you spoke earlier about boundaries. Like in life, we need to have boundaries. So it's the same with art. We need to have very clear boundaries for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to keep putting yourself out there and you're never going to get the results. So if you know what your boundaries are, then it's very easy. Then you can negotiate. Then you can say, okay, I'll give you a bit of my boundary, but you need to give me a bit of your boundary. So it's like a relationship. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I would say that's one of the best, the nicest commissions. One of the worst commissions I did was, but that's a long time ago. And I had an ex-boyfriend, then I wasn't married. And I made this commission. He had a very rich uncle who wanted the Van Gogh type of copy. So I made it the Van Gogh, and then he didn't want to pay. So and he said to me, oh, but I can go buy a print for half the money. So I'm like, sure, but then don't take the painting. And then my ex-boyfriend gave him the painting. Obviously, I kicked the ex-boyfriend under the butt after that. I wasn't happy about it. But yeah, so commissions are always you have to be sure where you're standing. I heard you talk about online. Like you get we get a thing here called Vanza. I don't know, you guys probably also have it, where you can compete and you can have all these places you can go to and stay and live. But again, be sure what you're getting into. But because sometimes what they say and what it actually is two different things.
Yeah. So do your homework.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great insight, Leonie. I'm just wondering if there are questions. I was going to check out the comments and see if there's a question. So guys, if you have any questions for Leonie now that she's here, please let me know. Or us know, then she can answer questions. There's a little bit of a delay, so I just need to refresh.
I think while we're waiting for that, what I can talk about maybe is studio time and this whole thing of the muse. If it's okay with you, Sonia?
Yeah, go for it.
So while you're waiting,
yeah,
I spoke to somebody very early this morning, I was doing my Pilates, trying to stay fit.
Good.
And the girl was talking, she has a family member that's very autistic, but he can't seem to, he's waiting for that inspiration. And in actual fact, you don't need inspiration. What you just need is studio time. The whole thing of having inspiration is a fallacy. We are inspired all day, every day. Some days we're more inspired than other days. But the main thing is to have a place that you can go to, close the door, and you create, even if out of 10 hours you do 5 minutes, but you actually sit there and you create something. And often the stuff that comes out then is stuff that you might use later. I mean, I have some very famous artist says underneath every painting is 5 other terrible paintings, and under every brilliant painting is 10 other terrible paintings. You know, you might make 5 brilliant paintings in your life and the rest is pretty average. I mean, for me, every painting I make, the next day I look at it and I'm thinking, oh, I can't, how can anybody want to buy that? It's so bad, because you are already better the next day. So the thing is to set in your mind, this is a job like any other job. The only difference is that, I mean, I'm a very much a believer. I believe in God. And there's a wonderful scripture in the Bible. I think it's in Exodus. It talks about a guy called Bezalel. And it talks about how God gave this guy wisdom and knowledge on how to work with art. And it's the first time the Bible actually speaks about the Holy Spirit. So when you're artistic, if you're a human being, you're already made in the image of God. You are already artistic. So there is no question of you being able to do art. Everybody can do art. We just all do art differently. Some of us make music, some of us sing, some of us do bricklaying, some of us do paint, but you are artistic. But you can't sit and wait for it to happen to you. You have to happen to it. Mm-hmm. Sorry, that's just something I'm hoping, because I often find people, they say to me, oh, I don't feel inspired. I'm like, there's no thing about feeling inspired. It's just sit down and work.
Good advice. I love it. Thank you, Leonie. I see there's some questions that I'm going to try and put in the thing. Angelique says, were you ever afraid to lose clients due to your pricing?
Oh, yes, of course, of course. Sure, but that's actually a very big question, because it's more than just about the money. And especially with Corona, I mean, of course, I'm also scared of losing clients, but there's a deeper root to it. I think for me, I had to work through the thing of, am I worth it? Am I worth charging the price that I'm charging? And so there's an inherent, you have to have a belief and a faith that you are worth it. You need to charge what you believe it's worth it. And also, of course, in relation to the market out there. So if I look at my pricing now, I'm due to Corona, obviously I revised my pricing, and I'm charging the same now that I would have charged in 2017. So it's 3 years ago's pricing, taking into account we have Corona. But in myself, I'm confident that it is the right price, because I feel it's worth it. I feel that if I compare myself to other people out there on the same level, because all artists, art works like Sonia would have probably explained it to you. It works like a pyramid. So you've got your very low end art here, and you've got your very high end art here, and we're all somewhere in that bracket. So I would say I'm probably more in the middle, maybe even below the middle. But you need to know that you are happy with what you're charging. So I am happy with what I'm charging at the moment, because for me, it's also about, I want to make it available for people. And also, if you're doing a commission, it's already before the time you've already negotiated the price. So you should always ask more than what you think it's worth. for a commission, so that there's a place for negotiation, so that everybody wants to bargain. So normally when somebody orders a commission, they have a specific budget. So a good way, if you don't want to put yourself in an awkward position, is you ask the person that contacts you, what is your budget? And then push it a little bit by €1,000 or in my 10,000 Rand. Are you okay? I'll need an extra one. And if it's not, then you work with the budget that they give you, but not less. If you're selling, like I have a thing that I'm trying to sell my own art, and I never used to before Corona, everything changed. I used to mostly sell in galleries locally, and obviously people would buy from overseas, or I'd send it overseas. But since Corona, I've really pushed my own pricing online. So the difference is that you still have to charge the full price, but now you can negotiate with the client a discount, because the gallery is not taking 50%. Because I don't know what, according to what I can see in South Africa, all galleries take 50%. The online galleries, from what I can see, all take 40%. The ones I'm part of, for Asahi and Single Art, and I can't remember the others. They all take 40%. So they're going to get their cut, you're going to get your cut. If the client buys from you direct, let's say your painting is €2,000, I don't know if that's expensive or not, but let's say it's €2,000 that you would get in the gallery, you would have only gotten €1,000. But now the client is saying, oh, now I want your painting. I want to buy direct from you, or he wants to give you a commission. Now you've got 50% that you can play with. So you can say, oh, okay, I'll give you a special discount. How would you feel about a 10% discount, or a 15% discount, or a 40% discount? Because you're still going to get what you would have gotten if you had a gallery. But that doesn't devalue the value of the work. The value of the work would still be €2,000. You've just sold it for less, but you're still getting your money. Obviously, you want to get as much money of that 2,000 that you can get. You know, if you can get 1,999, that's wonderful. Yeah. So the bottom line is, you need to know that you are worth it.
Good. I've got another question, Leonie. How do you make sure to know what the client really wants? Use a mood board, interview. So it's the brief. How do you go about briefing?
Okay, so if it's a corporate, they will normally make a mood board for you, and they will send it to you. If it's a client that walks in, I would definitely speak to the client first, show the client my work, talk to the client, try and understand. I'll ask him, show me what you have in mind, using whatever I've got here, or using what I've got on my website. So let's say they say, oh, I like that. So I'm like, okay, so that is the type of style that you like. Now tell me the type of color that you like. Once we've got that sorted out, then I'll sit down and say, okay, I'm going to make you a Photoshop sample. The final painting won't look, you can even cut and paste. I mean, if you're good enough to, I sometimes cut and paste paintings. I use decoupage, not decoupage, what do you call it? It's a decoupage. You cut pieces of paper and stick it together to design. It's a decoupage, yeah. To design. Oh, wait, I'll go fetch you one quickly. Hang on. I've thrown one away this morning. Sorry, hang on.
You can look at your beautiful chair again and check out your studio.
Okay, so this is an example. Okay, this was not for a client. This was for me. So this is, you can see it's all different pieces of paper all stuck together. So I would do something like that. Stick it together, scan it in, and send it to the client. And they say, okay, is this what you've got in mind? Making clear that this is a piece, this is a painting. Remember, we're dealing with a painting here. And the client needs to understand, if he wants a photograph, then he must go buy a photograph. This is a painting, and part of the painting is you putting yourself into the painting. is a painting is a living thing. It's like a human being. Sometimes the red doesn't want to be red. It wants to be orange. So keep the client on board the whole time while you're working, and make them a part of the process. Like, yeah, I really think this painting needs orange here because it's going to do this and this and this and this. And, you know, you can, you can explain anything away. Sometimes you don't understand yourself why you're doing something at the time, but just sit down and think about it. Go do some research. Oh, okay, the red's not going to work. The orange is going to work. What does orange mean? Da, da, da. Then you go to the client. You know, the orange is going to work because your business is going to look like it's more green and more fresh and whatever, whatever. There's always ways to talk around it.
Mm. So some clients don't understand that you make using Photoshop. What's your experience? How do clients react to that?
I haven't had a problem with it. I just communicate. Okay, I'm quite good in Photoshop because I did design. I worked in ad agencies for a long time, so I can design something that's pretty. Oh, okay, I'll show you just now. Sorry, I can design something that's pretty close to what it's going to look like in the end. But just remember, like, I mean, your Photoshop design is small. It's A4 or it's on a screen. It's a little screenshot like that, whereas you might be working on something really large. So just you need to communicate very clearly to the client that I'm going to create something artificial for you, and then I'm going to use that as a reference to create the actual thing. So in a way, it's like buying online. You see something online, you see a picture, it's not the real thing. Then the real thing comes and it's slightly different. It is different or better or worse sometimes, but hopefully better than what you expected. Normally, my experience is when the person opens the painting up, they're always amazed. And that's part of, sorry, just added extra, if I may, about packaging. Can I quickly talk about that?
Yes.
For clients, okay. Sorry, I can't see you. Can you take this, the Facebook user thing? There we go. Thanks, now I can see you. Part of your commission is your presentation. So you look, it's easy to do a presentation on a small painting. It's difficult to pack a really large painting, but you can still pack it in such a way that the person must get excited when they open it up. So you pack it, you wrap it in your bubble wrap, you build a box for it. I build my own cardboard boxes. I actually hate doing this, but you know, it takes a whole day to build a box. But I make sure that on the front of the painting, I have a letter for the client in a sleeve that says, this painting was made like this and this and this and this. And this is how you look after it. And well done. And this is a certificate of authentication, blah, blah, blah. And then once I've sent the painting off, I'm on WhatsApp communication the whole time with the client. I'll send a photograph. Here's the courier. There the painting goes. Make a big hoo-ha about it. Ooh, exciting, exciting. There goes the courier again. Here's the little certificate from the courier. Ooh, wow, it's on its way. It's going to be there in 3 days' time. Next day, 2 days more to wait. Next day, 1 day more to wait. Next day, woohoo, have you got it? Did you hang it up? Send me a picture. And then once I've hung it up, you make a Zoom call, or you make a WhatsApp call or a Facebook call or whatever. And it's like, hi, I'm so excited. What do you feel? Would you like to give me feedback on the painting? 99.9% it will be, because they will feel like they were part of it. It's not just you. You're not just the commissions are also, people are fascinated by people who do art, because they think they're a bit weird. And yes, we are a bit odd and weird. You know, we think differently. We think a little bit out of the box, you know. But that's the beauty of it, because we can all do art. But I mean, I see it. I've got students phoning me every day. I've got brilliant work on the walls here from my students, and it's all people that come and say, oh, I can't do art. I can't draw a stick figure. And then you teach them and they can do amazing art. So we can all do art, but there's still this fascination with the person that creates. So you're not just selling your art, you're selling you, who you are. And if you know, don't try and pretend. I mean, I'm actually a fake extrovert. I'm actually don't like people that much. I like animals. But I'm very bubbly and out there when I talk to people. Sonia, you know, you've met me. But in actual fact, I'm happy to go home to my horse and my dog and not talk to anybody. For when lockdown happened in South Africa, we had 3 months we couldn't get out of the house. I was, yay, I'm so happy. So you're selling you. So your part of your commission and part of the painting accepting the commission, the person accepting the commission is selling who you are. Sorry, just one more thing. Sometimes you can also get, I've actually gotten commissions through putting half-finished paintings on. My work is also on single art, and I took a risk last year. Sometimes I did it. I halfway through the painting, I actually posted it on single art, and I actually put on the. Oh, I'm giving you all my secrets now. Anyway, I posted on the work still in progress. So I made the work for myself, and then I mean the painting was like 1/3 of the way what I would have said finished, and then immediately somebody booked it and they commissioned me to finish it. So I just kept posting. So the person obviously then followed me on Instagram, and I kept posting. And this is something from China. I mean, how the heck they got to me, I have no idea. But in the end, they bought the painting because they loved the process. They loved the communication. They loved what I had to say. They loved why I painted the painting. That's all part of getting commissions. So you can get a commission halfway through a painting.
Mm.
Oh, okay. I don't consciously look for them, but I'm very open to if you want to commission me, you commission me, but according to my boundaries. So I've got this one behind me that I showed you earlier with the lady. I'll show you I wanted to show you the Photoshop thing as well. So I'm already posting that on Instagram all the time. I'm making, actually I should show you probably the Instagram, what I'm doing. I'm doing it and in the hope that I'll get a commission out of that.
Mm.
So always be prepared to do it. You know, like I wouldn't take on a commission if it's not something. I mean, I often get people say, oh, don't you want to paint a portrait of my wife? And I'm like, no, I don't want to paint a portrait of your wife. I can paint a portrait of your wife and I can probably paint it really well, but I'm not going to like doing it. So if you do a commission, don't make and I've made this mistake, don't make the mistake of taking something on that you're not going to enjoy doing, because it will show in the work. And you will actually hate yourself afterwards. Rather say no. Do you offer? But no, I don't. The reason for it is that 90% of the time, okay, nowadays with the modern canvases, we've got, I have to remember to go the opposite way. I use quite a thick canvas, and also when I use encaustic, it's quite thick. So you can just paint the canvas on the side a plain color. Don't paint the painting around the canvas. Please don't do that. You're going to waste your time. Plain color on the side, and I send it like that, well packaged, and seal it. The reason for it is that you don't know what the person's house looked like, and they will have their own taste. A lot of modern houses, they don't frame the paintings. I actually think a painting looks better framed personally, but even a modern abstract often looks beautiful in a Baroque type of frame. But the person will have their own taste. So you're wasting your time and you're wasting your money.
Because I have a question here from Anya. How do you manage a client who gets stressed?
Ooh, that's a hard question. Okay, how do you manage a client who gets stressed with your painting? Okay, you're gonna have to. Sorry, let me just. Okay, I'm just gonna close this. Okay, that's part of the negotiating in the beginning. You need to read the client. I mean, if you're an artist, most artists is what we call discerning. They very good at reading people, and they're very good at reading situations. So I would suggest to you that if you think the person is going to really stress before the time, have your picture of what you're planning to do. Show them halfway through, maybe where you're at, and say to them, I just want to show you I'm busy with it, but the picture will still look like this. If you feel the person will not cope with that at all, then just rather finish your picture and then show them the picture. Some people are more sensitive, so you need to read the situation. You need to read the person. Does it? I hope that answers the question.
Does that answer your question, Anya? Well, she'll respond. I have another question here from Anya.
Oh, okay. Look, it's your certificate. You can make your own certificate. You can just Google certificate of authentication, or you just create your own certificate saying this is an original artwork by Anya Schumacher or whatever, and then you have your T's and C's in there, and you sign it with your signature and the date. That makes it authentic. So you don't have, it's not something that's a legal thing. It's just I mean, even if you look at single art, they give a copy of certification. It's just something that they make themselves, from what I can see. It's not a legal thing. So you can easily create it.
And then there's legal. Then there's a question from Angelique.
If you would have too many requests for consumer to arrange your prices. Ooh. Shoo. That's a tough question. Look, every painting ideally should be more than the last painting. So yes, if you're lucky enough to have that kind of demand, just remember that you need to take into account everything works in seasons. So I've seen it many times. You get, there was a certain artist that was very famous a while back in South Africa. Everybody wanted his paintings, and he's disappeared. He's still making art, but his season has sort of tapered down. So ride the season. If you feel that you can charge more, then ride that season. You also need to, I mean, I don't know, you need to look at your country, you need to look at, are people willing to pay it? If they're willing to pay it, then yes, go for it.
Okay, guys, good stuff. Any more questions? I don't know if you can still think of things, Leonie.
Relating to commissions, though.
Commissions, yeah.
I think it's quite important that you make sure that if you want to do commissions, that you mention it in your, like if you just finished a painting and you post it on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever you're posting it, right there somewhere, commissions available, or I'm available for commissions, or phone me for commissions. Because, you know, in marketing, people have to see something 10 times before they respond to it. And okay, in our country, in South Africa, we are financially, our money is worth nothing. So if any commissions I would get, I'm working for the overseas market. I'm not working for the local market, because we just can't afford it. So yeah.
A question from Anya again. Do you include shipping and insurance up front?
Yes. Okay, let me just, now you need to look at where you're putting this now. Are you talking about the commission, or are you talking about on the website? So I will answer both questions. If you're doing a commission, like for the hotel that I did, I will expect them to pay for the transportation and courier costs. They're only paying me for my art. I'm not paying for the courier costs. If I'm, like, for example, somebody saw the painting while I'm busy with it, and now they wanting to buy it from me. And let's say I give them, let's say the painting is $2,000 and I'm giving them a 25% discount. I'm still making enough money, and then I'll read the situations. If I think the person can afford the courier fee, then I will sort of just drop it in courier fee for you. But if there's a problem with it, then I'm quite happy to pay it, because it's not that I mean, the paintings are quite light. You normally either pay per weight or per volume. Then I'm prepared to take that cost, because I'd rather have the sale and spend 1,000 Rand of my money than lose the sale for 10,000 Rand. Or, so it's also, you need to read it. So I would say in general, I will try to get the client to pay the courier costs in general, but I'm open to paying it myself if it becomes a problem.
And the other situation, you put it on your website.
If I put it on my website, I would assume, let's say somebody sees it on the website and buys it from me, they would automatically assume it would include courier costs. So, but you need to make it clear on your website. So I would say, if I post a painting on my website, it would say there, it includes courier costs. Like what I do is I say, in South Africa, shipping is for free. And then Europe and America would cost X dollars, whatever I think it's worth it. And let's say it costs $100, but I've only said $50 on the website, then I will cover the extra cost. So you want things to be as clear as possible before the time. And be honorable. Always be honorable.
And what do you mean about that?
It's that thing of boundaries again in the beginning. Know where you stand, know where you're willing to go. And some clients sometimes will try and push. Don't fall for that, but in your behavior, be sure that you're always above board, you're always kind, you're always professional. Don't get into an argument. If the guy's pushing it, just stay professional. It's just a painting. Let it go.
Good stuff, Leonie. I think those are the questions. Please just tell us where the people can find you. Where can they connect with you? Where can they look at your online courses? Instagram, what's your handle?
I'll have to look it up quickly. The website is www.lifeart.co.za. If you Google Leonie E. Brown Art, you'll get me.
Okay.
The school is, the physical school is Life Art School, and the online school is Art for Dummies .thinkific.org or .com, but that's also from the school. You can follow it from there. The Instagram account, I'm just opening it up, is Leonie E. Brown Artist. Let me just double check this.
I'll put all the URLs in the comments. I'll put them in the group so people can.
Okay, I'll put them in there.
So, and I've seen Angelique put the link in. Thank you, Angelique, for putting it in the comments. Thank you. If you want to hear more about Leonie, she did do a podcast 14 and 15. She had so much to say. We just did 2 episodes. And she shares more about her art story. Definitely inspired to follow her as well on online. Wonderful richness of knowledge that you're sharing. Thank you so much for that. And hopefully we can do this again in the future.
Yeah, and lovely.
We can you can look at the replay for those who are watching and wanting to look at things again. Then you can just go back and have a listen. And thank you, Leonie. We will be in touch.
Thank you, Sonia. It's lovely to see you.
Have an inspired day. Enjoy enjoy the processes, and we'll be following on Instagram and on your website.
Okay.
Right? So should you work on commissions, hopefully you have some information now that you can decide whether this is something for you or not for you, and if it's for you, to set up those boundaries and make clear expectations. Head over to my website if you want to listen to the podcast of Leonie, and also for other resources all about making your art business. These are the episodes of Leonie. That's podcast 14 and 50, very insightful and inspiring. And yes, here I've got a slide of her Insta account and of her school. So check it out. She's got lovely videos and information that's available, and shares her vision on art, and great teacher also for art techniques. So thank you for being part of the Help I'm Artist community. Let's continue the conversation all about commissions, about your art business, and use that comment area to share about your work. Please use this community to have discussions and to share your artworks. That's why it's there, so that we can help one another to be the best creatives that we could possibly be. Next week, I have a podcast coming out from Ramon Schalk. He's a Dutch sculptor, doesn't live too far from here, and he has a background in sales and in marketing, and he is now a full-time working artist. And how he did that, his process, how he promotes and works on commissions. So that'll be an interesting episode. So that's coming out shortly. Thank you guys for being part of the session. And I'll be seeing you in the community and in the group. And have a wonderful afternoon. And I'll see you again the next time. Bye-bye.